Hi there. It's Catherine in my Sunday morning. Wow, what a ride. I actually made a new banner and hi. I somehow knocked myself out of the room. Oh my goodness. Well, whoever's still here, thank you. Because I think I just had a minute where I was trying to figure out what had happened. Oh my God, it's a good thing I take all of this with a sense of humor. Um, so let me say welcome again. I am so thrilled to be with you, and it's Sunday morning, and I use Sunday mornings as part of my reflection time. And this wow, what a ride! Uh, it's been a quote that I've loved for such a long time, and so I've started to take it on more and more about what is purpose. What is we're doing a group with a woman named Jennifer McClung, and it's a 12-week year. It's like, what if you put an entire year into a 12-week period? So we're doing this wonderful class with her. And one of the things that she's worked with us on is what's your why? What is your why? Why? What is your purpose? What is your why? So, wow, what a ride is mine. When I started to look at it, it's like I've had different mission statements along the way in my life, different purpose statements, and it all comes down to one thing: is what can I do right now to help me and to help you? Simple as that. How can I help? And so my why with lipedema started 2009, when actually probably before then, when I started to experience uncontrollable swelling, and nobody could tell me why. Nobody could figure it out. Um, I knew something was wrong. You might be able to relate to this. Also, welcome all of you who are listening to the replay. If you've gotten this far, boy, you're a dedicated person. But, going back to, this knowing something's wrong, not knowing what it is, looking for answers, and having people that you think should be able to tell you what the answers are tell you nothing's wrong, or worse than that, that it's psychosomatic, that it's, um, and that, yeah, this thing about, you know, how do you find the answers? So, the thing that took me down this path was a simple decision. That decision was finally, after a very long and painful year post surgery, having developed lymphedema, not knowing what was going on, with the potentiality to lose capacity in both my arms and both my legs. That's a pretty strong motivator. So my motivation was, darn, there's got to be an answer. So when I looked, I had a surgeon who was very not nice. I had a primary care physician who was a sweetheart. and neither of them had any answers for me. So that was the moment where I finally realized that I was desperately, desperately trying to get someone to tell me what I could do. And it was at that moment that I realized I had to figure it out for myself. Not a pleasant state, honestly. It was at that moment I remember that I started to feel in control of my life again. My glasses are glaring. Started to feel in control of my life again. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how I was going to find it. I certainly didn't expect to have happen what happened, but I knew one thing. I knew that if I just took the next step, it would lead me to the next step after that, and the next step after that, and the next step after that. And that I just had to be number one, willing to live in that kind of don't know mind. I talk about that because that is one of the principles that I learned from the Zen work that I've done. And tonight, let me use this as an opportunity to invite you. Tonight, the two Zen teachers that I've worked with for a long time are doing a webinar on Zen and the art of self-love. And I think that that will encompass more than just our own self-love, but I look at it as self-love as me, others, and the world. So, but that whole Zen principle of don't know mind, I was like, I didn't know. I still don't know so many things, but what I do know is what's happening in the present moment. Like right now, I'm here talking to you. And so that has been the path for Lipedema Simplified and the Lipedema Project. The Lipedema Project came about when I met Dr. Mark Smith, and he believed enough in what we were trying to do that he championed it. And it was his participation and his engagement and his partnership that created the documentary film, so much of the work that we've done, the book that came out. So each step of the way, there's been the right combination at the right time. So here I am right now with you, and you're here listening to this. I hope, let me see if anybody left comments. I need my glasses for that though. Oh, how nice. Thank you. Leave me comments. It's so wonderful to know that other people are here and listening. Um, oh, yeah. And MS says, and from her doctor, she kept hearing, all you have to do is lose weight. And then, of course, we would try and in the end, because lipedema is resistant to diet and exercise, ultimately we wouldn't be successful. So I'm here to talk about hope. I'm here to talk about resiliency. In this time when it seems like the world is so falling apart, and it's like every cowboy movie that I've ever seen, the good guys and the bad guys, and then in the end you find out, no, it's just a mess. And in this case, I mean, I stand with Ukraine. I stand with the ability for democracy to win. And I don't see that any different than the day by day struggle that I know I have, and I'm assuming that many of you have, dealing with the chronic disease. And, I wake up in the morning, some mornings, with like, I have another day of the pump, the vibration plate. This morning, I was up at the crack of dawn. I have Epsom salt I used to take Epsom salt baths. Well, I found floating tanks in my neighborhood. Talk about being blessed. There's a floating tank in my neighborhood. It's literally 5 minutes, in the square around the corner. It's a Boston float and 850 pounds. Let me say that again, 850 pounds of Epsom salts in a tank that that you float in. And the floating, of course, is wonderful, meditative, and beautiful. I go partially because it helps with my swelling. So all of these things that we think of day in and day out, how do we do that? One step at a time, one day at a time, and together, holding someone's hand, helping someone else, and helping yourself. And it is the essence of what we do. It's the essence of who we are. We have so many wonderful things that are happening. I just want to say we have a coaching collective. In fact, we call it the Coaching Collective, where we have, 10 coaches from all around the world who are helping us. They're the ones who've done the webinars for the month of February around self love. Well, most of them, there's still a couple yet to come on board, but boy, what an amazing process. I'll tell you. And again, I keep saying, I feel like the universe itself is creating this pathway. Um, and it's wonderful. Um, Even despite the fact that each and every morning, each of us wake up to having to deal with a chronic disease. Um, so, my message for today, a bit all over the place, deep gratitude for you and for me, for the willingness to keep showing up, not throwing in the towel, to fight for the right to have the best life possible, the best life possible, the best life possible. And doing that, sharing that with others. So, I wrote an article for Stanford at one point. Stanford had asked me to write an article about lipedema a few years ago. And I led with this story. Again, it's a Zen story. There was this farmer whose horse ran away. And the neighbor came over and said, "Great misfortune." And the farmer said, "Mm, maybe, maybe." And the next day, the horse came running back, and with it brought 3 wild horses. And the neighbor again came over and said, "What good fortune." And the farmer said, "Maybe, maybe." And then the next day, his son was trying to break in one of the horses. And when he was trying to break in the horse, he fell off the horse and broke his leg. And again, the neighbor came and said, "What misfortune." And the farmer said, "Maybe, mm, maybe." And the following day, there'd been turbulence in the area, and the powers that be were starting a war of sorts. And they came into the village and they were going to take his son, and the son had broken his leg. And so they passed him over. Again, the neighbor came and said, "Yet again, great fortune." And again, the farmer said, maybe. And as strange as it seems, I use that story as a metaphor for my experience with lipedema. It's like when I look at it, oh my God, it's been 10 crazy, intense, at times extremely excruciatingly painful, and at times ecstatic beyond belief. 10 years of it. 10 years of asking and looking for answers. And 10 years of finding some answers. And then sharing it with all of you, because what else? What else is there to do but share all of this? So let me end today by saying Kathy and Anjay, who are the two Zen teachers, let me put it in. When I'm doing this, I usually do this with Leslin and Gail. So here, I found it. There's the link. You can still register for it, and it will be tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. They're in Korea. They're in South Korea. So for them, it's 9 a.m. on Monday morning. So 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 4 p.m. on the West Coast. So come join us. It's going to be a wonderful exploration, really, around self-love and looking at some of that based in the art of Zen. Actually, it's Zen and the art of self-love. So both self-love and Zen. Let's see what else. We have a symposium coming up. Let me tell you about the symposium. We have our spring symposium that's actually called the Ketogenic Revolution for Lipedema and Lymphedema. It's a virtual symposium, and it's April 29th and 30th, and then we have a workshop the following day. So that's how you can get to that. And if you're here, in all probability, you're on our email list. This week we have a super early bird special. So if you're planning to come to the symposium, get your ticket now and save some money, because it's going to go away on Friday. And then next weekend we have, if you haven't been able to come to all of the amazing webinars that we've had for the month of February, next week, next Sunday, we're going to have a webinar that's going to be highlights of all the webinars. So it's almost like you're going to get the 2 to 3 minute version of each webinar, which will be fun. And I'm going to talk about the Real You project. Yeah, let me talk a little bit, because I've talked about it for the past several weeks. We're starting up a Real You masterclass. And the whole purpose of the Real You is for you to reveal yourself to you. Everything we've done this month: self-love, self-care, self-acceptance, self-compassion. When you're living with a chronic disease the way we are, it's a good idea to be able to embrace yourself. And the masterclass is the masterclass for this. Really going deeper and deeper and deeper into befriending yourself in your body. So that's coming up, and I'll talk about it next Sunday on the webinar. And yeah, there's so much more coming up. Bottom line is, thank you. If we can help, let us know. We're here for you. It's not only me, we have a wonderful team here for you. And have yourself a wonderful day. If you're watching this as a replay, thank you for making it this far. And bye, everyone. I'll see you next week. I'm really loving these self-reflections out loud. And my wow, what a ride is amazing. So thank you. Have a great week.